Alright, welcome back guys. Once your first time here, I'm Vision here, Bonner Team, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm back bringing you guys another new Power Rangers video. Now if Power Rangers is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon, there's more Power Rangers content from me, moving forward. Now let's begin. So, like I said, I'm back here with y'all. We have a new Power Rangers video. I took a really long hiatus for personal reasons. I'm back now though, gonna try to do weekly videos out on Mondays. So today we're gonna start off with my new Power Rangers video. Now, this is one that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a while, so I figured I'd start back up with this one. And the topic I'm going to be discussing, and especially if you looked at the thumbnail, you already know, it's whether or not I believe Hasbro cares about the franchise. Now, this has been a big topic that's been up for debate for a while, probably almost 2 years now, since pretty much Hasbro has taken on the franchise. Now, the short and easy answer to me is yes, they do care. And I feel like a lot of fans have been thinking that they don't. And let me put it in this analogy. They're not going to shell out all this money just to shelve Power Rangers after 3 years or however many years they've had it now. They're not just going to do that. Think about it. Imagine if you went out and bought this big new car to fix up. You're going to plan to, you put out a bunch of money for it, and then you get it, and then you just shove it in your garage and don't do anything with it. It's a huge waste of money. Hasbro is not going to do that. They'd be idiots also to do that. I feel like what a lot of fans are going off of is how things have been going over the past few years since they acquired the franchise. Ever since we got Beast Morphers Season 2 up until Cosmic Fury. Now, they were under contract up until 2021 that they had with Nickelodeon. That also hurt them. Then they also had the pandemic that was going on. So they acquired Power Rangers at a very kind of shitty time period. Like, they couldn't have gotten it at a worser time. Because, they had contracts that they had to fulfill. Everything had to run out until 2021. They were in the middle of the pandemic. There are things you can't control. So, I don't blame them for that. You gotta look at them from this standpoint. With how the industry is run, I feel like at that point when they acquired the contract, they were on autopilot. I think we all know that Jonathan Entwistle project is coming. We know that. I know a lot of people think, oh, that's been shelved. I think there's multiple reasons as to why that hasn't been gotten any news recently or any regarding a lot of things like that. And I'm going to go over those in a minute here. But I think a lot of things that when I'm a Power Rangers came down to the whole issue with timing. That I feel like they wanted to, finish out their contracts, and then they decided to do Cosmic Fury, and then they're gonna really start pumping the brakes, or going full throttle with everything. Now, like I said, the pandemic definitely screwed things up because I feel like we had heard a lot of things about the Jonathan Entwistle stuff and the upcoming, new universe and everything reboot. However, everything kind of came to a screeching halt with the pandemic. Now, you gotta think that pushed everything back at least a year. Now, also, you gotta look at what's been going on with their other franchises and everything else in the movie industry. Things have shifted a lot since the pandemic. Streaming has become more widely available. People aren't going to the movies as much as possible anymore. So, things after the pandemic has also caused probably some ripple effects. Try to figure out what they want to do here. We know they got Netflix. Netflix is just a distributor, though. They have really not much else to do there. But I do think that they have to have something going on in the background planned. Like I said, though, they're not just going to shelve it. I think what happened here is that they're trying to see what's going on. They're looking at all their other franchises they have. They had G.I. Joe, which around the same time as the pandemic, and their contracts and everything kind of came to a halt. That flopped. So I'm thinking they probably are looking at this thinking, all right, let's see what we can do. We know the 2017 movie was not a good success. I personally did like it. I know there are a lot of people who didn't like it or are mixed on it. I personally did like it. But they look at those numbers and think, okay, we don't want this to flop. Right now, I'm looking at this as Power Rangers, Hasbro, and pretty much everybody else wants to have their own connected universe. And Power Rangers is an easy bid to do that. Look at all the past 30 years. We have multiple universes, add in extra universes if you count the comics. Pretty much everything you want to do, say Marvel-wise, You already got that template landed out. You just got to execute it right. That was DC's biggest issue. So I think the longer it takes to get this, the better off we'll be. Um, but we got to look at things from the movie and reboot issues here, because, like I said, they're gonna want to look at everything. Transformers is a tricky franchise for them. They've got these franchises and they want to do something with them. They don't want to shelve them. And depending on what goes on with Transformers, because we do know they're doing a GI Joe Transformers kind of crossover thing, or introducing them into the universe too. So it's a possibility that they're also waiting to see on and try to figure out how they could connect Power Rangers into that, because I could definitely see them adding them in there, depend on how things go. So I think also we may have to wait to see what goes on with, I think, the new Transformers movie that comes out next year. I'm sure that'll expand more on things. So after that, if we haven't gotten more news, I could definitely expect to see something coming out from that after the new Transformers movie comes out next year. But I do think that there's definitely going to be seeing some things at least behind the screens. We had the writer strike in 2023. That definitely threw another monkey wrench in the situation, because you had the writers and actors strike. So you couldn't have scripts being done. You couldn't have actors being, auditioning and everything. And if you think about what's been going on the past year or so, the pandemic truly didn't end until 2021. I know people look at it as being 2020, but technically it didn't end until 2021. Even some people say 2022. I'm not going to get into the debate about that. That's not important right now. But however long you want to say the pandemic lasted, that caused some issues. And then you got to go on. Yes, Jonathan Anwes is trying to, do this extended universe, but he's on way to Kevin Feige. He has to get writers, directors, producers, fill out all these slots. That takes time, months. That's not going to just happen overnight. Then you got to hire someone to write these scripts, and that takes time. If you even look at what's going on with Marvel, and this is worst case scenario for Power Rangers. Look at what's going on at the MCU and Blade. They're on their sixth writer, I think. I'm not sure. Fifth or sixth writer right now. So it takes time. I'm praying right now that that's not the issue with Power Rangers. I'm praying that they only have to go through one, maybe two writers at most. But, it takes time. Then you got to go through the acting process. It takes a while to get actors. I can easily see, probably maybe next year, I could easily see maybe like at I was gonna say D23, but they're not part of Disney. I think at, what is it, Hasbro PulseCon, I could easily probably see some kind of big announcement, either saying a script has been done, maybe a poster reveal, and if we're lucky, maybe a casting announcement for either the reboot TV show or the movie. That's my prediction right now. I think right now we've had the writer strike that's been over for a couple months now. I'm sure they've been working on a draft or a couple drafts of the film. I personally was not a huge fan of what the original plan was for the film, so I'm praying that they go a different route. But yeah, I'm assuming with the past couple months they've probably gotten a good chunk of the script done, and I'm assuming probably beginning to mid next year they'll probably start working on casting. Now, casting takes a while as well, so we gotta be patient. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. We gotta be patient here. We could easily sit here and say, oh, they don't care, but things take time. You don't expect to see this stuff happen overnight, and frankly, I don't want to see it happen overnight. In my opinion, the longer we have to wait, the better off, and at least hopefully better off, the project will end up being. Because that means they care. That means they're taking their time. They're making sure it's good. They don't want to flop. So that's where I stand right now in the TV and movies, is that they're just taking their time. We don't want a DCEU issue here with the movies and TV show. And I also think, going off of that, because last I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, but last I did hear, I think they wanted to do something similar with Marvel, where they want their movies and TV shows to connect. So I could also see that being a reason why they've been kind of slow and on what's going on. I could easily see them looking at other franchises and trying to see, okay, what they do wrong. We know how much Marvel has pretty much effed up the past couple of years with their TV shows. So maybe they're looking at Marvel as saying, okay, how can we not do what they did? And I could easily see them looking at DC and saying the same thing. They want. We all know every single project, franchise, anything. If you can make a franchise out of it, the people behind it want to do it. And Power Rangers, like I said, is an easy sell. It's easy. And right now, if how things are going in the comic industry and with comic book movies, things are, in a spiral tailspin with Marvel. DC has like been shot in its leg so many times it's crippling and trying to crawl back up with James Gunn. We'll see how that turns out. Not trying to be mean to DC, but come on, we all know how bad that went. So they're kind of like on their last knees. This is pretty much they're begging for hope. So superheroes are at a dying, kind of at a tailspin right now with how things are going, depending on how things go with Marvel, sure they could change things up, but their reputation has been soured recently. DC doesn't have the perfect reputation. This could be, and look, I'm 100% not saying Power Rangers will ever overtake Marvel or DC. I 100% don't believe that'll ever happen. But I do believe that they could come in, depending on when the movie comes out, and kind of become a bigger success than what we would expect. They could definitely become popular because it would be seen as something new. It's not Marvel, it's not DC. Power Rangers isn't as big to the mainstream media as Marvel and DC. So they look at this project and think, ooh, this looks good. So I could definitely see the delays actually helping the Power Rangers movie, depending on how well they actually put it together, how well they market it, and so on. But that's just on the movies and everything there. I'm going to go now talk about the TV show and toys because that's where I feel like I've heard a lot of people complain recently. And look, I will agree. Power Rangers did a bad job marketing for Dino Fury as well as Cosmic Fury. And first off, I don't 100% blame Hasbro. When Nickelodeon owned the franchise, they did a horrible, shitty job promoting the show. They did not do good there. So I don't 100% fault Hasbro. I definitely feel like they could have improved it there. But also I feel like being on Netflix, it's harder to promote a show, especially when it's on Netflix compared to, Hulu or Disney Plus. And not taking a jab at Netflix, but I feel like that's one of Netflix's biggest issues is they don't do good marketing and promotion for their TV shows. Whereas you always see commercials for like say Paramount Plus, Hulu, Disney Plus. You always see commercials for them, but you never see commercials for Netflix. I think Netflix fails in that area, and nothing against them, but I think they need to start looking at what some of the other streaming services do because they need to do that. Because you need to get your name out there, and with Power Rangers being on Netflix, and with Hasbro behind them, they could have done good promotion, but they failed with the 30th year anniversary most of all, and I just feel like it was a big. Hasbro did fail on the promotion for the 30-year anniversary and Cosmic Fury. I can get why stuff happened with Dino Fury because they were still somewhat under contract. Season 2, they had their own stuff, but they were so that kind of screwed things up because they probably could have, but they just didn't. But I think with everything that went on with Cosmic Fury, they effed up big time this year. I mean, we had Once and Always, but we never got a trailer to almost a month beforehand. We never got anything from Cosmic Fury till a month ahead. This was 30 years. A lot of franchises don't make it this far. It's very rare. So, it felt like they didn't care. And this is one part where I will agree. With the 30th year anniversary, it did feel like they didn't care. And I don't like to say that because to an extent, I do think they did care and took a lot of time and care into making Cosmic Fury and Once and Always. Because you can see that in the products. They're both good. I know there are some issues with Cosmic Fury. It definitely feels rushed at certain areas. And for the most part, I think Once and Always is definitely a solid thing. I definitely plan to get a review out for that in the future. But yeah, they did drop the ball with promoting the 30th year anniversary. 30 years is a big deal. Nickelodeon and Hasbro did bad. I hoped, Hasbro would do better. They did not, unfortunately. And that's very frustrating because this was a big deal. You want to promote your franchise that's been going on for 30 years. You don't just kind of ignore that it's happening. And I feel like that's what happened. They came and they went. They were kind of forgotten about. I mean, except for us hardcore fans. And that's the issue. Casual fans will forget about Power Rangers. us hardcore fans will continue talking and knowing about it for however long it's around. But casual fans, they're your main target audience. They need you. And you F up bad when you don't promote things for the casuals. And that's why I think they failed this year. Now, going off the toy line, I also agree to an extent. Yeah, they kind of effed up toy line. We didn't get any figures for Cosmic Fury. The merchandise for Dino Fury and Beast Morphers was very weakly done and very weakly promoted. So I think that was definitely a bit of a fail there. I do think they've been going strong with the Lightning Collection, although that is going on hiatus. But I do think the regular toy line they did bomb. Lightning Collection they did do pretty good about. But what I'm looking at right now is I feel like once Hasbro got Power Rangers, it was kind of one of two things: an experimental stage, but also kind of one of those middle ground stages as kind of going for the motions. Look, I do believe Beast Morphers, Dino Fury, and Cosmic Fury were both steps up from the Neo Saban era. 100% believe that. And I don't think a lot of people can disagree. I think they were huge step ups from what we've gotten for the past 10 years before that. So, yes, they did do improve, but they definitely have areas that they need to do better in. They haven't 100% like revived the brand, but they definitely gave new life to it. Let me put it that way. They need to they've brought back Power Rangers, but they need to push more energy into it. And that's what I think they failed at so far. They haven't put enough energy into it. They put a good amount in. They just need to put more into it. But that's just where I stand regarding this topic. I thought I'd come back with just this, a little bit of information regarding my thoughts and opinions. So yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Do you feel like Hasbro doesn't care? Do you think they do care? Do you think, like me, they do care about certain aspects of it? Like, creating the upcoming reboot and movie universe, and along with the toys and everything. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and if you have any suggestions for any future videos, let me know in the comment section down below. Oh yeah, guys, those are my thoughts, opinions on whether or not I believe Hasbro cares about the Power Rangers franchise. As always, if you liked this video, don't forget a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon that is more of my Power Rangers content videos that drop every Monday. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which are linked in that section of my YouTube channel. As always, I'm Vision here, Boy Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.